Hello, I am Julius.
And I guess that makes me Caesar. And together we are two people with stupid names. And this segment is called A2 Google. So, what's Google? How is Google shafted us this way? Recently, Google has been, as far as I can tell,
You were going to say
removing functionality from its products. I do not understand. My
you
life is on Google, and it's
you brought up
pissing
a
me
good
off.
point. It's ever since Reader, everything's got to shit.
Yeah, around the time I've been noticing it ever since they killed. I wasn't even a Reader user. I discovered it actually. By the time I discovered it, it was already canceled, and I was like, oh shit! Actually, I would have been a Reader user if I'd known what I know now. Yeah, because that's around the time I started really using RSS.
Mm-hmm.
But since around that time they've always done changes, and sometimes they were good and sometimes they were bad. Like the priority inbox, whatever. I was never a fan of that, but it was optional. And then the new design of Gmail, it wasn't to my taste, but it didn't remove functionality.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm finding now is the changes they make remove functionality. So shall we go through these one by one? The Google Inbox tabs.
Yes.
Okay, so you got the default ones are regular inbox social promotions.
Yes. Do you use them? Do you still use them?
No, I've turned them off because
I turned them off too.
And here's the reason: because my phone will give me a notification when something comes in on promotions.
Mm-hmm.
But then I go and check my email client, like I look at the tab and it says 0, right? Because it's gone into promotions rather than. But the problem is, the filters aren't good enough, and so there was shit going into promotions that wasn't promotions. There was shit coming into my inbox that was promotions. There was shit coming into my inbox that was social, and there was shit going into social that wasn't social. It was promotion. And so the fact is, after a month, it still wasn't sorting them well enough to be useful.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is that you were specifying this is promotion, this is social.
Exactly.
And
just
yet
like
it would just and it would still show up. It would be the opposite for me. It would still come in the main box.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's the point? Why am I even dragging this over? And I just turned it off. I said, screw it.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. I was dragging over and it wasn't learning, so I said screw it. So essentially, though, it removed functionality because your inbox isn't functional if you don't get the stuff you're expecting to go in there.
Right.
The second one, which happened earlier, actually, is the new Compose.
Yes. Oh my
interface. God. So I don't actually have a big problem with it popping up down at the bottom and being persistent, so you can actually look at other mail while you're composing. I think that's a nice function.
I don't like that.
The problem is for me when you type an address. So let's say I'm gonna type
an
Bob Smith, an email address, and I want to type it in totally. This happens sometimes. Someone's written an address for me on a piece of paper or on a business card, and I want it to go. I don't want to just type in the email address. I want to type in the person's name so that it automatically goes into my contacts. So I type. I'm gonna type Bob Smith. So I type Bob. I hit space, and suddenly, whoop, Bob's in this little box. Bob is not an email address. Why did it get it? Why is it not smart enough to know that one thing I typed? In the old days, you type the whole thing and separate with a comma and it would check later when you send.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why, rather than using the space as a thing that suddenly turns it into an email address, why doesn't it wait for the comma?
Yeah,
and
that's
so anyway,
true.
I have had to turn it off because it removes functionality, and it's really, really frustrating.
Yeah.
It's incredibly frustrating.
No, that is annoying.
And you have another one with or we both have another one, but you can do the maps one.
We're talking about new maps. Where okay, the only thing that I do like is that it's full screen, like full tab or whatever, like in the browser. I don't mind that. I kind of like that. I always thought the thing along the side was kind of annoying.
Yeah,
where,
and the URL being like you can just cut and paste that massive URL that's in the thing, and those are
better.
Good features. Those are two good features.
Mm-hmm. But the what was it? Was it the stars? Like starring an item?
I don't know. I always felt that interface was a bit lacking, and I never used it. I always used stars. And then on that side, so the stars are like bookmarking location.
Yes.
But the problem is you cannot label a star. If you star up someone's house and all you get is the GPS coordinates because it doesn't even figure out the address.
Yeah.
You can't put a note that this is Bob's house.
Yeah.
And I was always wondering why that was, because the stars function like bookmarks, so that why wouldn't you be able to name it? That was always weird. And on the new one that you can't even star some locations, it's just like,
yeah,
it has to be a real place it has to be like an address that actually comes up for you. And actually, I don't think offhand, I can't remember. I've switched back to the old ones because the new ones, as
you can switch back. You can go back to the old one. Okay,
so then right-hand corner, there's usually an option to switch back. How long that lasts, I don't know. So it's I don't know what Google's game is recently, because it's gone a bit. I don't even want to say Microsoft. It's gone a bit.
I think they.
There's another company that used to do that. They used to like make things look sexier and then remove functionality.
I think it's Google Plus's fault, really. When it comes down to it, they're trying to link everything to it. If you go and search for a location in Maps, and you want to visit that, that store or whatever the location, their page, their former page where you could go in and write a review about them, it takes you to a Google Plus page. Now it's linked to that, so that's where you can go in and you can make your little review.
Actually, you just reminded me of another place that functionality has been removed, which is Picasa.
Yes, I was going to say that next, because it goes to the default Google Plus Photos page.
Bigger problem is that it's harder to do when so if I want to go to Picasa because I've got two accounts. I've got my personal Gmail account. I've got my old Google Apps 4 domains, actually really old, like grandfathered 50 users for free. It's still got it.
Oh no!
For my theater company, and I upload photos to the theater company, which are then exported out to the website in Picasa.
Yeah.
The only way for me to get to that page is to open a browser in which I am not logged in as me.
Yeah.
And go to Picasa, and in like say open Firefox, and only be logged in under my theater account.
Okay.
Under my work account, because if I'm logged in at the same time under my main account,
it logs into the other one.
It automatically takes me to the Plus page, and then I go to the Picasa web, and there's no facility for changing accounts. So they've removed I used to be able to do that like in the main browser. When it was still Picasa, everything was Picasa web. I could just manage everything from there, and now it's why can't I merge those two fucking logins? And that's the thing. Even if I could merge the accounts, that would leave me with one Picasa account.
It's true.
And it's just really.
And you pay for storage on both?
No. I'm not paying Google for storage. They're still fucking
expensive. $5 a year, 20 gigs. I have the grandfathered account.
It's a ripoff. It's still a ripoff.
No, it's like $10.
I pay $39 a year
because I have
SmugMug.
Well, because the original photos that I was taking in the past were much bigger than the limited, like the free.
Right.
So.
But here's what I'm saying.
So I've used 10 gigs of the 20.
Right. So I pay $39 a year for SmugMug, unlimited.
Unlimited. Okay.
I can export full-size JPEG at 100%. I can't do RAW, unfortunately. They charge extra for that.
So you pay 40 for unlimited, and I pay 5 for unlimited.
No, you pay 5 for 20 gigs.
Yeah, but if I keep it at that resolution, I'm never going to exceed 20. Booyah!
Right, but you're paying to grandfather those photos in. Do you need them there at full resolution?
No, I don't. But I'm not going to take them down.
The point of this segment is that in some ways, like Google has set up so many great things and so many great services, and it's really hard when they decide to just sort of stick their dick in the mashed potatoes and fuck up something that was working.
That was working so well
without adding any functionality that we could live without.
And if anything, if we've learned anything today, it's Google, get a better customer support thing. I mean, I don't understand. They're a huge company,
and they use Google Groups as their support.
Yeah,
like even Get Satisfaction is a better.
Oh my God,
support site.
10 times better, because people actually write back to you on that goddamn site.
Yeah, because they have to, because it's set up that way.
Yeah.
In Google Groups, it's sort of like, oh, here's someone complaining. The worst thing on the Google Groups is if they answer once, it's like the ticket's closed.
Yeah.
Even if they're like, we're working on this, we'll have answers for you in 30 days. And then you see the thread's like 2 years old, and that was like the last.
And then other people are writing underneath.
Hello, hello.
We still have this problem. Yeah.
We still have this problem, and it's actually gotten worse because X, Y, yeah.